Welcome back. Thank you. Not that I'm complaining, Oriander, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Not idea. In extolling the virtues of Aetris, I did it inadvertently awaken in the Labyrinthos as a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Cryo, tell us you have obtained a new knowledge that made us in our ongoing efforts. I have news to share regarding our study of the Aetheril Sea, but your findings are certain to be greater interest, and so I would rather hear them first. To what revelations did Hydaelyn's Elpis flower lead? Oh. Then this is dynamics. Is what drives the final days. If it and Akasa are one and the same, this all but proves Nidhana theory, where an entity, through sheer force of emotion, to channel this vast, dormant reservoir into a raging river. Its power might suppress even that of Aether. But if our star is so replete with Aether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamics of the great expanse. Meteon, or rather the sorrow of suffering of fallen civilization that she has been hiding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred, drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a single purpose: the destruction of Aetris. Then our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim: to defeat Meteon. You make sound so simple, but you are not wrong. Vanquish Meteon, and we deliver the word from the final days. But to even attempt it, there are two conditions. First, we must determine her location. Before Meteon escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Vanna, the woman who would become Hydaelyn. The implications of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Hydaelyn and the Vanna you met in Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I wager that Hydaelyn possessed the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share the knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee Aetris, not to stay. Do you suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Meteon? That's my impression too. Otherwise, she wouldn't have used me as a conduit for her will, or provide clues such as the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Harm's question. So, what's the second condition? We must find a means to reach Meteon. Naturally, our choosing method will depend entirely upon wheresoever she has made her nest. The communing with Hydaelyn must be necessity come first. Did you and Master Montoya have any lucky with your investigation into Aetheros Sea? Sadly not. Though we unleashed the help of Arevenant and other Echo-blasted allies, we couldn't detect so much as a whisper from Hydaelyn, even from within the Antitower. Master Montoya is of opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Hydaelyn. If so, it would most likely be some form of apparatus for observing the Aetheros Sea, built closer to home. Who is it? Sorry to interrupt. We just received word from the Forum. Your presence is required to the Rostra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. Then Father was able to pursue them. They're finally taking us seriously. Let's hear what they have to say. You can use the lollipops. What is it? The names? Lollipop?
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter. We are here to listen and to learn. But if the Forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far. Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter.
That's my people.
On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glacies. We shall not soon forget your service to us and the people of Radzat-Han.
Hot.
The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Sharlayan has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharlayan citizenry which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzat Han was foremost among these, but since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
Glad you're here, Mr. Evil
You have
DR
accounted for the
Porkchop.
safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
What a question!
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only in that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This arc, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated.
Ah.
At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
Oh, understand.
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on 2 conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the anti-tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
No.
Delightful as always, Master Alfino. Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself.
Ah, you can imagine what we can do.
Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote.
Ooh.
All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms?
Yes! Yes! Woo! Woohoo! Ah!
71 in favor, 28 against. The ayes have it.
Oh, he didn't raise his hand.
Fortuneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
So they're gonna use the Ark to go chase Meteon? Is that what I'm thinking of? I can't relate it.
Very well.
I call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
Ooh. Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plane. I was admittedly thinking of my feet for the most part. But since we require both a means of communing with Hydaelyn and reaching Meteon, in the spur of the moment, I saw involving ourselves with the complexion of the Ark as a way to work towards both objectives simultaneously. Ah! I knew it! However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the Aether burner. I like to think it is not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at the least, the expertise of our extended circle of associates. I might behoove us to learn how an Aether burner actually works before we attempt to improve it. Woo! And instructed, I shall take you to see the Aether burner. Meet me outside of Acheon. I trust you can make your own way there. So the Ark is being built in Labyrinthos. Hardly surprising. Where else could it? Also, such a massive undertaking. Woohoo! Our destination lies in the lower levels. The Forum, in its wisdom, has granted you access to the Archeon's lift. Step inside and have Offlane take you to the Meteon circuit. I have sent you associate ahead to Logisticon Alpha on the other side of Merio Agronomics. Actually, there is something I have been meaning to. No, never mind. I can wait. Let us attend to the matter at hand. Why he hesitated? We are to wait here while our father arranges for us to use the next lift. Here, being Logisticon Alpha, where the atmospheric conditions of the Labyrinthos are regulated. Water is drawn from underground and dispersed as a vapor, stimulating the formation of artificial clouds and rain. By manipulating the temperature and air circulation, they are able to create the ideal environment for the growth and preservation of the biological samples kept here. Hold on. How do you know so much about it? Why? Father brought me here as a child. What? And left me behind? Actually, you were the one who left me behind when you went off somewhere with grandfather. The night before, I'd been asking father how clouds are made, so he decided to show me. It was fascinating. I prepared him with questions the entire time. This is all too easy to take for granted, the many interweaving aspects of the natural world, to grow inured to the wonders. But having gained an understanding of the complex mechanisms employed by the lollipops in recreating a similar environment, I have come to view such process in a new light. The subterranean gardens of Labyrinthos, the lunar prison, forget to contain the ancient zodiac. The habitations built for all making, neath the moon's surface, each unique yet undeniably similar. This is no mere coincidence. Ever since Hydaelyn unfolded to us the grim fate that awaits Aetheris, every essential resource we could spare has been delivered to Labyrinthos, in preparation of the Great Exodus. But that is not all. It is also a testing ground for the technologies that will allow us to settle on distant stars. Thalapporites have endeavored to make the moon inhabitable. That is not our final destination. Making must learn to propagate life where there is none, to thrive where all is barren. As time is not on our side, I have arranged for you all to enter the central circuit. It is there that most of our preparations for the Great Exodus are carried out, the constructions of the Ark among them. Though our plans have been made public, have access remained highly restricted. You, however, will not be subject to said restrictions, and you have free rein to come and go as you please. Such was the will of the Forum, after all. We will prove ourselves worthy of their trust. Your trust. Now let us proceed.